G'day, welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today in his casual attire, Mr. Algared. How you doing?
Okay, yes, it's casual attire. It is a nice, mild 28 degrees Celsius
You've got a
at
look.
present.
You got a little bit of green off your green screen behind you, hitting your shoulders, and you're going slightly invisible. There's no way you're gonna hide it, right? You have to
No,
change your shirt. There's no way around it. It's fine.
oh
But
well,
yeah.
too bad. The shirt can stay.
So we've both
But
had a week. You've been enjoying the Doctors. I've been enjoying real hacking gameplay. It's been great.
yes, yes,
So
I've experienced some of your real hacking gameplay.
yes, it's been.
The one 5-minute break
Mm.
during the week was the one time you sent me a message saying, "Hey, contact our mods."
Yeah, yeah. So
the only time I had.
yeah.
And it just was fortuitous. It was just happened to be at that time, so I was able to say, "Hey, mods."
Yeah, so I'll tell you
We
what's
have
been happening then. So my Discord account got hacked, and I still don't have control of it back. So there is a young man from Turkey somewhere. I know he's from Turkey through things that have happened, but basically he has control of my Discord account, and he is the owner of the Discord. He's now passed ownership off to someone else. Discord has been notified. The mods have put in raid warnings to Discord. Do not go to my Execute account and harass this person. He has not done anything to the Discord. I'm sure in time we will get it back. We've just got to wait for Discord to get off their slack asses and get back. Like, it's now been 48 hours and I still don't have an email back from them. He also managed to get a hold of my Discord support account and put a 2-factor authenticator on it, so I had to just put it in anonymously. And then obviously the bot is giving me trouble. So if you are someone at Discord or know someone at Discord that could help me out, please get in contact with Algared and he'll forward you on to me, because I'm on an alternative account at the moment, as we do this show right now.
yes, and we keep it secret, keep it safe.
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm just like, I'm on the Discord, but he doesn't know I'm there. So basically, as long as he's not doing anything, I'm just going to basically go under the radar and get control of it back through the proper channels. But I am having. I'm having trouble getting through to the people at the proper channels because they are severely understaffed, and clearly they don't have the same copyright protections Google and Amazon do. Because when he tried to get into my other accounts, I've gone through all my accounts and changed the passwords and all that, so don't worry about that. But as soon as it realized he was in a different country, it just kicked him out. But Discord did not do that. Discord didn't care, and so basically it's been a real stressful situation. As you can imagine, we've got a really cool Discord, and he could literally just go in there and click a delete button and it's gone. So I'm a bit concerned about that. So if you happen to know anyone at Discord, or a way that we could probably get through to someone to get some help, please reach out to Algared and let us know.
And if you do see interaction from the Execute dude on chat, just ignore it.
Yeah. Just ignore it for now. I'll let you know when I'm back, and I'll also let you know via a stream when I've got it back, etc.
Yeah, and I'm not breached, so if I say he's back, you know it's good. Yeah. That's my compromise to.
He's going, I am not brought and paid for. Then you know he's paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. So what are we going to go through today? We've actually got a couple of things to go through before we get the questions started off. Actually, I should probably do the bot. I always forget that.
Start the bot so we can get the bot running and
Piggles assures me the bot will be working this week, so we'll see, right? See how that goes.
I trust Piggles. He's been trustworthy and everything in the past, so I've got no reason to not trust his word unless it doesn't work.
Oh dear. It says the application is not responding. Yeah. Do you want to try as well? It'll be in strain questions. It might be because I'm not on my account.
It could be.
Yeah, it's just /start in strain questions. I do know Piggles could start it, but again,
that's the questions bot.
Yeah, so it's it'll just say /.
Yeah, there you go. Done. Sending command. No, does not respond.
Yeah, I'll send a message to Piggles. Now I'm gonna find him because again, I'm not on my account. If you've got him on your account, can you message him?
I do have him somewhere. Got to find him though. Where is he when I want him?
I've messaged him.
Okay.
He is online, but again, I'm on my account.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll go without it for now anyway.
Yep, and we did actually kind of check whether we could access it prior to starting.
No, the bot I didn't test. So yeah.
Yep.
Grim, can you link me some images, please, or a 360-degree spin of the ship that we've been working on? I've only got a single image, and I want to show it off. Algared.
Yep. I saw the updated still image, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot more than the original draft. So yeah, it got me enthused.
Yeah, so we'll show that off in a bit. We'll give Grim a minute to send me some more stuff through. You've got to. Oh, shish! I just realized he doesn't have my account. I'm gonna have to message him. Send them to here, please. Yeah. There you go. I just messaged you, Grim. If you can send me, I swear I saw a 360-degree spin of it somewhere. That's what I wanted to show off, but I can't find it anywhere. So yeah. There it is. Cool. You sent it to me right now. How the hell do I open this? I'm gonna be able to open this. Thank you. Right now, can I open this into that? Hold on. Can I do this? No, I can't. Right. We're doing it live. I don't know how I'm gonna do it live, but we're doing it live. All right, here we go. I'm gonna have to add a VLC video source. And then I'm going to have to open the video source. All right, so there we go. We've got that spinning. And then we've got to go in here and we'll just call it that. And then we'll... Oh, it doesn't work the way I wanted it to work. All right.
It's just doing its little bit of thinking as it tries to load.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen the image of the nacelles opening up, but
no, we don't have that yet, but it does.
But yeah, if it, the description of it, as you described, I could see the idea, and I could see what it was doing.
Okay, we've got a black screen. Great.
Yep.
It doesn't want to. It does not want to move. Why do you not want to move? I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is why you don't do shit live, people. This is why you do not do shit live.
Oh, well, the other thing is, people see it's just like real life. Some things, best laid plans don't work.
Yep, that's it.
And you make mistakes, and mistakes are part of learning, and hopefully you learn from your mistakes and
files,
keep developing.
Downloads, that one, open. Okay.
But what you could do is, in the meantime, put up the still image we've got.
No. I got it working. I got it working. I just got to put it into the background, and then.
Yep, I can see it. I can see it on the Twitch.
I've just got to get it into the right place. About there. Yeah.
There it is.
And then I got to put it up to. There we go. We got it on full screen. Right. So this is what Grim and I have kind of been working on. It's mainly Grim's baby. I've just been giving moral support and ideas
and constructive criticism
and making his life hell by giving him ideas that take heaps of hours of work. But basically he did a poll in his chat and he wanted to make an Argo repair ship that's kind of now morphed into a ship fabricator. So it's a ship that builds other ships. And he did little silhouettes. Pass me the silhouettes, Grim, if you've got them, and I'll show those off too. So he did some little silhouettes of how he wanted to look. We went through with chat like all these little different ideas about how we want to incorporate their little UFO ship. You can see it there on top. Actually, it's in the center of the circle of the big disc. And we've got all of these different ideas. So at the moment, I was trying to say to him, wouldn't it be cool if the arms expand to accommodate different size ships? And it makes it ironically look like a Star Trek ship. But when you look at it from the front and stuff like that, it doesn't look like a Star Trek ship. So it's just really clever how he's managed to pull it off. I'll just open this real quick. He just managed to send me this. Hang on. Why can't I?
Yep. But what I like about this is the main front of a ship, the main disc.
Yeah.
Mirrors the small saucer, so you've got that unison of design flowing through.
Well, you can kind of see that here in the silhouette. So he did all these different ones. Now, can you tell the 3 that I picked that also happen to be very close to his favorites? You can actually tell if you look at what he's done, right? And the way I figured it out was, see how he's actually gone and put all the bridge connectors in on A, B, and H, but he didn't do it on the others. So he kind of gave himself away. But again, if you look at them, I like how it looked Argo enough, but it also incorporated in all the different circle sections. I think he did a really good job there. Yeah, he's done really, really well. Like every time he comes back, the total chatter's geeking out and stuff like that, because it's really exciting to see something that we just haven't seen before. And when you look at Anvil and RSI, and you realize like RSI is like 900 years old and Anvil's about 600, these guys they fall somewhere in the middle, so they definitely need some other styles of ships. And I think if they do it like where Grim and I have kind of taken this and kind of start to bring the circle motif in and merge them, they may get the UFO that they wanted, just not in one big step. They do it in a little step.
I could see, like, to me, the circle design looks more crucible, and I said this before the stream. It looks more crucible in look, which I'm not sure makes it feel Argo enough. But I know when we were talking with John and Ben, and they said, "Oh, we want the saucer ship to be Argo," and we said, "But that's not Argo." And they said, "Oh, but the design of the Argo label is a circle." And they drew back to the Argo logo. But so, it still to me feels more.
Well, it's like how you look at an RSI ship. You kind of go, how the hell do you get away with a Dorito when then you've got the Connie at the other end? Like, it just don't make sense. And when we talked about it, became really obvious. If you slowly integrate that, you could push towards a UFO, which is something I don't think they've really. We've kind of seen them just have different styles and kind of combine them, but we've never seen them push towards one. So maybe if they kind of want to bring Chris on board, they've got to push towards it slowly.
And the other thing with Argo, I could see them not necessarily having lots of ships. Like any ship they've got has been, or anything they've built has been to undo bottlenecks. So in their lore, it was their shuttle to do planet to almost a hull A type vehicle to go from planet to station.
Just real quick, this is roughly Kraken size, by the way. It's similar in length to a Kraken. It's quite large. For those people that are wondering.
So the Argo capital ship. Okay.
Yeah, it is an Argo. It's an Argo capital.
So we need Argo large, medium, small.
So it'd kind of be if you look at the Pioneer as the base builder, this is the ship builder essentially.
So it's an Argo equivalent to a Pioneer in terms of that sense. But I could see, based on where Argo get their history and other stuff, I could see them doing a ground base builder.
Well, that was something we talked about too. Like, could you make it so the arms essentially can lower down so they can actually build on the ground and stuff like that? There was a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I suggested so it's kind of got like the mesh under the ship there. What if that was on the top instead? And you actually could have like robot arms go along those, and they aim down that way when you landed. They'd repair. It's been a real collaborative effort, and I've really enjoyed it because I haven't been able to stretch those kind of design, thought, concept muscles for probably 15 years.
It's always nice if you can get the It's always nice when you can get those creative juices flowing. But why I think a ground builder would work for Argo is that when they start off repairing Earth's mass transport system and building that up to speed. And then they're responsible for building the transport system on Mars and on numerous other planets. So so having some form of ground builder or ground repair or anything along those lines fits with where Argo have been historically in the lore. And then from that you could see them building up to the shuttles and then stevedore ships and other things. I do think they do need a ship equivalent to a hull A to kind of meet that, to do that Argo shuttle a bit more.
So while this is not a real thing, right? it's just really cool as a thought exercise and the potential to see where things could go in the game. And that's why I enjoy doing it. And if we somehow give CIG a little bit of thought on how they could do things better, like the UFO thing, that's kind of why I wanted to jump on board, because I know they want to do a UFO, and the way that we showed you the UFO last week. If you want to see that, go back to last week's stream. The UFO looks exceptionally good, but I really like this one as a big ship as well, and the shape of it is familiar, and I was saying that to Grim all the way along. It feels very familiar. So, yeah.
It feels like a ship that fits in the Star Citizen verse, and it also feels like it does appeal to the sci-fi trope. It does look like it does have callbacks to Trek, even though it's not designed to have those callbacks to Trek. Like the circle, the disc at the front has really just seems to have been built in to kind of mirror the little saucer on the top, so you've got that unity of form.
Yeah.
The building arms at the back, as they expand out to build bigger ships, aren't nacelles. They're not nacelles. They're totally different from nacelles. And but yeah, it's just got that. It does have that feel, familiarity, and for both areas.
All right, so we've got people putting questions like they normally do, but the thing is, I can't get the bot to work because of that I've been hacked, and I've reached out to Piggles, and I haven't got a reply yet. If you could reach out to him too, maybe he'll reply to you, because he's not replying to me. And I can only see one question at the moment from Dijoko, so we'll do that one. But then if you want to put him in, you're gonna have to put him via YouTube this week, just to make it easier on me and Algared. So Dijoko's the only one who's got a question. Who says, "Are you surprised there were no ships listed on the roadmap roundup? How does the absence of ship info make you feel?" I assume he means feel. He says fee, but I assume he means feel. Yeah, he corrected himself on the next line. So yeah. It makes me think that they're working on bigger ships, and that they've got less to talk about. And looking at the blue silhouette video, I would say that is the case, and I think you'd agree with me, Algared, on that one, yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry, I was.
So basically, on the road, they updated the roadmap, and on the roadmap there were no new ships added to the roadmap, right? So basically, they don't have many ships to talk about because they're working on bigger ships. Is my kind of
that would be my take. They're working on the stuff from a curtain, or they're working on the bigger ships from a curtain, or they finish off big ships, or they finish off stuff, and there's nothing new to add because they're all busy. So yeah.
All right, so that's the end of the stream, because there are no questions this week. Nobody's put any in.
They have. We just can't see them.
Well, no, I've gone through both chats. That was the only one that was there. So yeah, but seriously, if you got some questions, please submit them via YouTube so we can actually start answering them, because I have only got one other thing to talk about, and once that is done, we'll call it a day, because I have had a week and I will happily call it a day. So this came out today as well, Algared. I got an email for this. Wrong thing. Need to turn that off. So I didn't. Oh, there we go. Is supply or die. So we are going into the second part of questing or missions for this year's monthly events. The first one went very bad. I hope they learned from it. And I do hope they learn a lot from doing these quests, and that can be a part of the testing, I hope, because the first one, they apparently dropped all these story cues. Anyone that caught Paul's stream yesterday would have seen him ranting about this. But basically, they hid the clues so well, or they hid them like they normally would, but they didn't realize the people doing the quest wouldn't be in those areas, so therefore they never found them, so no one ever knew that the Frontier Fighters... It wasn't a twist because we never saw it coming, because we had nothing tipping a hat to it or anything like that. So they hid them so well that we couldn't find them, essentially, but they were hidden badly, not well. And now we're going into the second one, not to mention people that couldn't even get past it. Like I know Morph put a video out on it. complaining about how it was just so difficult to get done, and they were really, really buggy. And a lot of the missions where they would have hid the pads, right, because they essentially had these destroy fuel pump things, and then they had these ground-based missions. The ground-based missions were so buggy where the pads would have been, nobody was doing them. They were all doing kill the fuel. That's why nobody saw the pads. Long story short. So basically, this thing coming in, and it's
just to refresh my memory, Frontier Fighters are the mob with the cool camo skins, right?
If I scroll down, they actually have pictures of them here. So these suit looking guys, and they come in this deserty color and in a black.
Okay.
But now you've got to play as Citizens for Prosperity or Headhunters. This guy looks like he's straight out of Dead Space, actually. I don't know if you've seen. You played Dead Space?
I haven't.
Really good game if you're into that thing. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna go with Headhunters.
I have seen pictures that do look like that though.
Yeah. Isaac is the guy from Dead Space. He looks looks very much Isaac vibes. Anyway, so I'm probably gonna go with Headhunters. Citizens for Prosperity looks too Forrest Gump for me. So yeah. But
you just don't like Hurston. It's just that Hurston influence that you guys.
We'll see.
Right. I've seen people say just because it's a previous Hurston CEO or look, they're not going to touch it.
We're not going to take your propaganda here, right? You're preaching to the wrong crowd, right? So these are some of the rewards you can win. So it's some kind of toxic skin. I don't know what to call it. That looks like a toxic acid green on black, does it not? So
it does look like toxic acid.
Got a weapon skin there. There's apparently the tier 1. You can see it right here. So tier 1 is a decorative diorama. So that's obviously those little yellow boxes. The Ravager shotgun is the gun, and then tier 3 is the 3 ships. So you get it for the Prospector, the Fortune, and the Vulture. If you don't own those, tough shit. You get the skin, but you don't get the ship.
That'll encourage you. If you really like the skin, you can buy the shipping game.
They really need to start making skins that just work on every single ship. But that sounds like work.
One day.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to encourage these limited time events. We have been asking them to do missions so you get exclusive little items, so you get something for testing. This is kind of what we asked for. It is buggy as shit. It's kind of what we were asking for, though, wasn't it? We're actually testing.
And I could almost have heard CIG saying, "We don't want to do that because it's going to be buggy as shit."
Yeah. And it is buggy as shit. But here's the other part. That's why they're doing it, so it gets better over the year. So you know that there's an episode for anyone that's a content creator. At the end of the year, you basically look at the first month, somewhere along the middle, and at the end, and you're going to see the progress of the year. But yeah, I don't know. Like, if there's a little bit of progress and it's a lot less buggy, they learn how to make essentially missions for us rather than missions that they think are cool. Because that is a part of the process of game development. Like, there's being a player and being a developer, and sometimes being a developer, you've got blinders onto things that players have, and obviously they missed that in the last one, and they're probably slapping their forehead and going, "Damn, how did we miss that? So obvious." And they'll adjust, and I'm sure Elliot is kicking himself, but hopefully it comes out better next time around, and we just see that improvement every single time. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Yep.
What about you? Did you actually manage to get in and get them done, or no?
No. Of course not.
Black ass. I got them done, but it was a huge ass struggle.
It's that or do my paid employment. Yeah. And
that's how long it's taking now. You've got to choose between real employment or actually playing your buggy game.
Yeah. I'm sorry, CIG. I want to, but yeah. Other than X, I was doing some school marking or checking the student learning the other day, and just checking their books took me until midnight. So
Jeremy Sheldon, I did exactly the same thing. I went Frontier Fighters because I thought their skin was more different than the others. The Citizens Prosperity just seemed like a red one, very similar to the ones that we got for Best in Show a couple of years earlier. So I wanted something different. The Headhunters, the purple didn't apply to me either because we've had purple Best in Shows. So I went, let's go green. We don't get a lot of green skins because the only green ones we get are for St. Patrick's Day, and they're always that emerald thing. So that's why I went Frontier Fighters, and it turned out they were the bad guys.
So, based on CIG's thing here, those with the best skins are the bad guys. See, Hurston must be really good.
Well, technically, the Citizens Prosperity were like a salmon pink. So yeah. All right. Well, we've only got 3 questions today because I guess it's a lot harder to get questions in, or people just don't have questions. All right. Well, let's get onto them. We've only got 3, so if you've got any more questions to throw at us, please feel free. I know it's not the usual standard state of affair, but we're muddling through with the current hack situation. So I feel really bad. This is just making me feel worse. But
a couple of comments on the concept build or the concept play around that.
Well, we can go back to
has
that.
been being done. Wolf Blitzer on Twitch says the UFO is also consolidated Outland look and feel.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Could be.
You could make it. You could make it a consolidated Outland Argo cross too, if you really wanted to.
But we do know that. I think it was Ben who was really keen to do to push the idea of we want to do this, and John didn't. John wasn't like, no. He was, seeming to give the assent. But
John was the one that looked up the Argo logo because I said, "What do you mean about the Argo logo being round?"
Yeah, and
they showed us the old one because the new one's
they pulled it up on their phone and showed us, and we went, "Oh,
yeah," because the new one's like a capital A, but the old one is like this kind of circle. Oh, we've shown it before on stream, but
But we were, when they first said the circle and they wanted to do it as Argo, we were both going, but
that's your whole.
That's not Argo.
So someone took this tiny little thing and that became a UFO. Like the disconnect was huge, and we were like, okay, so a circle becomes a circular ship becomes a UFO. Like it was just like this multi-step thing that was like, man, someone's on some LSD somewhere.
And they pulled it up and said, look, because they've got the circle. We were thinking, that's Anvil. Anvil's always got the circle in their design of ships. But when they said it, we were like, okay. So CIG were really keen, but the ship team were really keen for that source of ship. So that's why, this was pitched, I suppose, having the saucer with Argo rather than Consolidated Outland or Anvil or any of the others. So that's kind of where that goes in terms of that discussion.
Yeah, we are getting some more questions in chat, but I need you to if you're on YouTube, I need you to put them in via the Q&A because the bot's broken. But I will endeavor to pull the ones that you've put into chat already out. But we're just struggling today because the bot is down, so apologies for that on our end. It's obviously tied to my account because my Discord account has been hacked. We're just going to have to do it old-fashioned. So
I have sent Mr. Pickles a message. A message, or Sir Pickles a message. But he hasn't responded yet.
All right, Medell Walker.
And I also let him know who what your account is. So when he sees messages from you, he doesn't go, "Who the hell is that?"
All right. Medell Walker says, "Greetings from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. I am a big fan of the Legionnaire. When do you think they will be available?" I'll let you take that one.
Legionnaire military, at best it would be, I would expect an Invictus, but when it's built, like I always take the view, and I know this annoys and frustrates a lot of people. I don't care when the ship's coming up. In fact, if a ship is delayed, I say that is a good thing, because it gets pushed further down the line, which means the ship pipeline, but it just comes better and better. As John was saying when we were talking, the gold standard of ships was really just raised on those last ships they brought out last year. That became the new bar that everything has to aspire to or be done to. So, I don't mind the ships I want being delayed.
I
either
think,
because of that or because of gameplay. Sorry, go
yeah,
on.
I think this year's had a big turn in how they're going about things. So obviously, some things are going to be kicked down the road. I do hope we still get some new gameplay, because that was the big downside of what I said. We were like on the verge of getting all these new gameplays, and now because they've decided to go to quality instead of quantity, or whatever it was, whatever you want to see the change as, that just means that they're even further down the road now. Which kind of annoys me. But they did also state that the features will still come; they'll just come slower. So I would still kind of hopefully expect that we get, say, engineering, because that was meant to come in the last big patch at the end of last year. But doesn't mean we get scanning and other things down the road. So
Yeah, I would hope I would hope we'd see both of those, because if they're focusing on gameplay and making the player experience more involved, engineering does that for the ships. It makes all the ships raised up in their gameplay. You do scanning, that again enhances the play styles and that. So seeing those mechanics, the game mechanics come in, I can see how every one of those really applies to enhancing what we do in game. So I really do hope, like you, we see them, but there's that shift to try and get more stability and make it better for players. Now I'll go back to that to the design, because Wolf Blazer had picked up and he said he'd buy it, and I've got to admit it would be a ship I'd want to buy.
We've got another question. Go ahead. I've got
another
another question about it. Yeah.
He had a question. He says, would it have a hangar or two for a vulture, being a Kraken-sized ship, I'm assuming?
So basically the only, like, and again, he's working on it this week, but we did talk about what type of hangar would the UFO have there. And you can actually see the UFO in the shot if you look. Is it a circular one? Is it a size 1? Is it a size 2? Like, they're things that Grimm's going to work out this week. And I said, couldn't it be really cool if it was a circular hangar and it had like an iris, like the Stargate iris? Like it opened, I was like, yeah. That it just like it has the and then it like pops up on like a little lift or something or whatever. Like I'm sure he'll work it out, because again, this is his thing. I'm just helping him with ideas. So,
if it was a CIG one and they were doing that, I could see them almost getting the design of the iris, not having the symbol, but that look of the gate, and having it just as an Easter egg to another sci-fi.
So
that'd be cool.
So Citizen Ninja also had a question that's related to this, and he said, "What do we have to do to get CIG to make this Argo shipbuilder?" I don't think we can force them to make it, but we could probably ask nicely and say, "Hey, we would like something like this. Hopefully, that inspires you to make something in the future." I think that's the best you can hope for, and I think it's just allowing. It's definitely allowing me. I don't know about for Grimm himself. Maybe he can speak up in chat, but it's allowing me to flex muscles that I haven't done in a long time, and I enjoy this creative process, the concepting and the working through and designing stuff. And we haven't even started getting into the inside of it or anything like that. So if we start to do that, it's going to get rather complex. Like, and you've kind of got to go, it's almost like 2 steps back, 1 step forward type of thing. Sometimes once you start to do the internals and stuff. So
now of course, to assist CIG, we should get Paul and other lore heads together and work out the lore.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because Ender and Grimm on their StarJump channel, they actually do some stuff for charity for St. Jude's, and they do it every year. And what I actually suggested to them, I don't know if it's going to go ahead, but this is and I did bring it up to you, so obviously it's not new to you, but what I'd like to do is have 2 teams and see if we can get you and Paul, so the 2 lore guys, one on each team, and then probably 2 people that can actually make the stuff, and then 2 people with ideas. So maybe 2 teams of 3. So like me, you, Grimm, Paul, and Ender, and maybe someone else. We'll have a look around. And basically we make 2 ships, and we do it kind of for charity, and people essentially donate money to the team that they think should win. Right, and then all money, St. Jude's wins the whole thing. But basically, and what we'll do is, because it's a charity, we'll reach out to John and Ben and see if we can get them to pick the winner. I think they'd go for that. It doesn't. They don't have to have any. Don't have to be on screen or anything like that. They can literally just tell us on Twitter or something like that. Yeah, we like this one. And that'd be just kind of cool as a tip of the hat from CIG. And a bunch of money goes to charity. So that's the idea. don't know if it's going to go forward. You probably have to put a bit of pressure on Cream to make it happen. But if you guys want that to happen, and I guess we could probably, I haven't even thought about this. I'm just doing this on the fly, Grim. We could actually have episodes on Inforunners, and we could have episodes on your streams as well, depending on the sides. Like we could have a whole Inforunners team versus whole Star Jump stream. None of us can model though, so we'd need a modeler to join us. But again, it'd be just cool for charity. I've done it for fun.
I like the idea of having Paul in as well, because then you could have literally an inter content creator stream where every stream is putting up the episodes.
Yeah.
And just making a real collaborative effort.
Yeah.
For those groups. The other thing that I like about this is this could work as just a concept ship. That's effectively what you're doing and presenting to CIG. Hey, here's a concept ship. Here's a concept for a ship. Here's a brief bit of lore for the ship as to why this ship exists. And
absolutely.
And then they may take it. They may take it and go, yeah, we like that design, and take it in a totally different direction. But yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see something like that. I'm not sure I could afford a Kraken-sized ship as cool as that.
Yeah.
Knowing how
expensive
the rule of cool adds to the expense of a ship.
But
so
it's still a cool idea to say
that would scare.
And where building's going, it's going to be quite expensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't eventually see something hinder the function of that ship in the end.
I would like to see if they did do that. I'd like to see the little sorcery ship be sold as a starter ship.
Yep.
And then, but not come with the big ship.
I do want to point out it'd probably more likely be an advanced starter. It's roughly 23 meters long, which is about the same length as the Intrepid.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, but you get the small one, but it doesn't come with the big one. It's just got the buy this one, and it fits into this one seamlessly. Yeah.
Well, I was kind of hoping that you could have like little things like the edges of the discs fold up and then arms come out, and so it's actually like a mini repair thing. So it's essentially like a really large repair drone that you fly. That was kind of my hope for it, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
All right.
But
so Citizen Ninja has a question.
Well, let me before you go into the Citizen Ninja one, I already did.
What can we do to get CIG to make that Argo?
That's literally what we just talked about.
All right.
So I've got one from Jocko that says, "What is your hot take on all the PvP versus PvP drama?" Look, my take is this, right? Is I think a lot of the people that are in P versus P do not realize that the rest of the game needs to exist. So if this goes into master mode stuff, like we've talked about this before, for the big ships to exist and the team play to exist, the flight model has to change, right? So if that's that part of it, if it is literally that I am a PvEer and I don't want to deal with PvP, so this is coming from the other side of the coin, then you are limited to the space that you can go to. You've got to stay in high security space so you don't get damaged. But you got to know that there's always a risk that one of those people are going to come over and risk getting caught to catch you, right? So that is just the nature of the game. If that is the game that you don't want to play, then you just do not venture out far from the safe planets, right? Yep. And that's on you. And again, it's all about preparation. You are getting paid accordingly, by the way, right? So if you're out doing a mission in just one little ship and you're wondering why you're making so much money, that's why, because you're meant to be hiring an escort to go with you to cover your ass, right?
Yep.
You don't get anything for free in this world. You're paid accordingly. So if you go out there and take the risk and don't take the escorts, and that's the thing, I think you would agree with me on that. We don't see escorts at all at the moment, but we've been having escorts talked about since day dot.
Yep. Yeah. Even in terms of the NPCs that you could take with you and the number of NPC ships you could have kind of controlled by your pilots. That was, you can have a couple of NPCs flying fighters as escorts. That was, I can remember that way back in 2014, that type of discussion. So it's nothing new. The idea of needing escorts to support you and supply you, and that type of thing, it's old as the hills.
Yeah. Those two things said, they are down the line. That is at the end. For now, there are really annoying things that allow people to get away with stuff like people pad ramming, people just camping quests area. Like for example, there were people that were I didn't see them myself, but there were people camping the known asteroid areas because they knew people were trying to get the quest done for the thing. That's two-part, right? They know you're going to be there. We don't have enough systems right now. And when I say systems, I mean we've only got Pyro and Stanton. But I also mean gameplay systems. So you can't really call for help. Again, like once scanning comes in, people are going to go out of their way to, like, if they bring in scanning, they really at the same time need to bring in the ability to literally say, I want to pay for an escort. They need a way to create your own mission to say, I just want to cover you to cover me while we do this mission. And the bargain is we split all the profits 50-50.
Yeah.
Or something akin to that effect.
Yeah, but there needs to be a way to be able to divvy up the proceeds, however way it goes.
Yeah. So if you're in a reclaimer and they turn up in like a pea shooter, then you can say, I'm only going to give you 5%. So something like that, right? But if there are multiple people, so if there are like say 7 Hornets turn up and it's a reclaimer, then you can say, well, it's even split across everyone or whatever, you know. So some kind of system so escorting works from day dot with scanning, because as soon as scanning comes in, this program is only going to elevate. And I guarantee you, any pirate that you would talk to, they are well aware of how the game works, and they're not assholes. They just enjoy piracy, right? So you got to understand it from both sides of the coin. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about when they working on the game instead of working in the game instead of working on the game, right? You've got to be able to step back and see it from both sides, and that is a really hard thing to do in life. No matter, like, it's one of the hardest skills you'll ever learn is to take yourself out of it. And CIG did this themselves. They were working on the game that they forgot players may not have the same experiences as them, and so basically it totally made that last questing line really annoying, right? And it's the same thing again here. If they go in and put scanning in without also putting in escorting, it's going to create so much more frustration. You're seeing what it is like right now. I would only assume that would exacerbate it, make it, I don't know what the time scale would be, 5 to 10 times worse.
It would be nice if they bring scanning, you know, you do your scan and it gives them a mission, you get an option for the different levels of escort you want. So
absolutely,
escort level 1. You know, 1 fighter, you know, 5%.
Or even just a suggestion. So, you are doing this mission, and this mission is X, so we would recommend that you take at least this strength of escorting.
Yep. So, you know, you got to bring your own, but then if you're putting out a request or a mission for it, you know, your mission request for escort is, I'm requesting a pea shooter, I'm requesting Idris, I'm requesting and that's going to increase the price you pay for that.
Well, here's another thing, Algared, right? There are people out there looking for PvP. They're pirating a lot at the moment. How many of those pirates do you think would kind of flip a bit when they realize they could be paid to be escort people?
Yeah.
Quite a few would just go, well, I don't have to put up with all the bullshit of being a criminal, but I get paid. And I get to have a good rep, and I'm actually helping people and not pissing people off. But the reason we're seeing so many pirates is they're frustrated that they can't get the PvP that they want. Yes, we're having a cart before the horse problem, but when it comes in, I hope CIG, and I think they will have, because they've had so long to deal with this, I hope they're going to see the way it's going to pan out.
I would even, you know, strike even in a moment if I'm doing stuff and I want an escort. I have to offer them X amount of space on my ship for the stuff they want. Fine. Which is kind of like that 50% for 30%, 40% or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of players would rather have an escort and do that side of thing rather than just lose everything to being pirated or, you know, so maybe that's just me, but yeah. I did see a question related to, or a comment related to the design, and it was from Wolf Blitzer. They said, and it was something that I initially thought when I saw that design of the Kraken-sized ship, and it says the 2 arms do look very vulturish.
Yes.
And when I first saw them, that was my first thought. They look very vulturish, but the purpose of the arms and the way they're functioning is totally different. And originally there were those bars between, so it looked like the star dock of
the bars are still
of a regular ship. So
I don't know if the bars will survive whatever he's doing this week, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I also suggested that they extend, so you could actually have them as a lot shorter when it's flying around, and then it extends out as well to just to differentiate it a little bit. But it's Grimm's design. What it will.
It's Grimm's design, and if we get
out.
something like that, CIG, CIG could look at that and go, yeah, we want that extending, we want it not extending.
I've been taking a really fine line with it because I don't want to tell him what to do. I just want to say, here's some suggestions, do what you want, because I want him to have that creative freedom to do what he wants, right? So I feel like I've got to stand back and observe a lot more, but I am enjoying what I'm seeing.
You're trying to be a soundboard rather than
and supportive. I'm not trying to take over and lord over him. You must do this. I'm just trying to get him to. He seems that I'm enjoying it. Maybe he is.
Yeah. So you're not taking a John Crew role. You're just taking a colleague role, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So Krivis asked that one there, so we'll do that one later.
Yep.
So
I'll keep scrolling through.
Dub Coyote says, question, do you think that the grind for supply and die is a bit excessive considering the state of the game? I haven't had a chance to get in and look at it yet because you realize me and Algared essentially woke up to supply or die being released. So we've essentially woke up, jumped into this show, so we haven't had a chance. But if you're saying it's excessive, that concerns me. But it also is designed to be, as they said in the video yesterday, to be group missions. So maybe they are more excessive than they appear, because so you are pushed to work together more.
Yeah, and we've seen that type of thing before. If you see me looking over here, it is because I'm actually checking out I'm not gazing at execute. I'm actually looking at the Twitch.
It's just a rude asshole. We all know.
No, it just happens that it looks like I'm looking at you and paying you attention. But no, I'm actually checking our Twitch stream questions and seeing if any questions can come. So I'm actually paying more attention to that rather than the YouTube stream as I usually would.
Yeah.
And there is a question from Citizen Ninja.
Real quick, Starjump said that Ben Curtis did say the ship looked cool. So that was pretty cool. All right, sorry, go ahead with your question. Yeah, that is cool.
So Citizen Ninja, changing the topic completely, says, what are your thoughts on the GPU market with the AMD 9000 series and GPU specs released today?
So again, I haven't had a chance to look at that video. I had it queued up and I was going to watch it, and then me and Algared talked instead. So I haven't had a chance yet. But from what the initial impression is that from what I've seen from the titles of the videos, is that AMD could be doing really well with the GPUs. I've been planning to buy an one of the new AMD CPUs, so I'll be definitely looking at those videos after this. I've literally got a motherboard and RAM sitting in the corridor waiting for a new PC, and I've just been waiting for the GPUs to be announced. So I got myself a Tachi, an X870E Tachi in a corridor, and like 48 gigabyte of RAM just sitting there ready to go. And yeah, I'm just waiting for those CPUs to drop. So I'll be definitely picking one up. If I don't pick up one of those, maybe I'll pick up the 9800 X3D. So we'll see.
But one thing you were saying as we were talking before the show about the AMD graphics cards was that maybe with that coming out, that's going to have an impact and bring the price of graphic cards down a little bit. So I think we live in hope. We live in hope.
I think the feeling is, and I'm getting this from because I obviously look at lots of different reviews like Linus and all these other different places and stuff like that. But the feeling that I'm getting is that we are now second class citizens to them. They use us to get where they are, and now we all their best GPUs are essentially going to the AI market because that's where the money is. They went from like $1 trillion company to a multi-trillion dollar company because of this AI stuff, and they're just going to keep they're money people. It's the end of the day. It's the same in any situation. Money people are there to make money. They're not there to make what you're like CIG is different in that regard. Like, they want to make a game that they love, but most publishers, they're just there to make money. They don't give a shit about the gamers.
And that's part and parcel of when you've got shareholders, isn't it? Like, when you've got shareholders who invested, you've got to make sure you're actually giving them a return. Whereas CIG for a long time went just going by the backers and the support and putting everything back into the game.
Did
How that's changed, I cannot guarantee. I'm not sure, but that still seems to be the general feel that CIG has, which makes them different.
So I want a totally unrelated, well, it's related, but I'm using it as an example. So this week, Kathleen Kennedy, there were things coming out saying that she was finally going to retire and all that. And she literally came out in an interview earlier today that I did watch before I watched the GPU stuff. And she literally said, no, I'm not retiring. And now there are people saying in the background that while she might not be retiring, she's being possibly forced out by investors that are sick of her losing the money. So there is the other side of it too. Like, so we can obviously take that example and go, you know, it would be good if CIG had a little bit more motivation to get things done. Would it have taken as long as it had? Will it be as complex? You know what I mean? So you need there's checks and balances, but there's also the creative things. So there's a part there where I just want to. There's a line. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's two sides of this line. You want to, it's a fat line, and you want it to be a fat line, but you know, like, at some point, when do we as CIG backers go, okay, I've had enough of this shit. It's taking too long. And I think a lot of people are feeling that because it has been going for quite a long time.
And that's one of the things that Chris has always said from, again, from as long as I can recall. He'd say, we've got plans. If you keep funding us, we'll keep expanding and growing the scope and pushing the barrow. But if the funding suddenly dries up, we've got the pool of what we need to finish off. We're going to get it out there. So there is that kind of backers support. And if it dries up, it kind of pushes them to say, okay, we've got to get this done. But again, like you said, it's, as investors, if we take on that role of kind of that investor idea, we're still saying, yes, keep going, because I think the vast majority of us do like what we're seeing, even though it is taking so long. But it is starting to wear thin on a lot of people. So
yeah, and I think CIG are aware of that. I think that's why there's been this change. Like, I think it's twofold. It's they're aware of people's concerns, but also they want it to have a better rap when they release Squadron 42. I was really surprised by the 2 year. Like, I thought maybe next CitizenCon type of thing when we knew it was going to be delayed. But when it came out and said 2026, and we're sitting in that audience, I was like, that can't be the year. That's going to be something else. Like, I was like, it's so far away.
My impression when I first saw that was, oh, that's Volume 2.
Yeah. That's what you said, and I was like, no. Like, this don't make sense. Like, we've been delayed.
We're sitting there. I said, oh, Volume 2. And he said, no, that's the release. And, oh, crap, you know. But
real quickly, Citizen Ninja's talking about building his first PC on Twitch. And he's talking about the issues with NVIDIA, and Wolf Blitzer's literally asked what issues. They're literally catching fire, Wolf Blitzer. So they made this proprietary connector for it, and they didn't design it properly. And essentially, it merges a bunch of power lines together, essentially. And instead of correctly balancing themselves, they can essentially overload and get drawn through one of the wires, and that wire then overheats, catches on fire, bad. And that's happened to multiple cards. It happened to the last series of 4090s, and now they've upped the power requirements. It's happening even more. It's happening now on 4090s and 5090s and 5080s as well. So and there just doesn't seem to be any way to fix it at all. And it's just going really badly. They've also had a problem where they don't have all the chips in them that they're meant to have. Like, they apparently mixed up a batch, and essentially like 4070s got in with 5080s and 5080s got put in with 5090s. So you're buying these cards and they're not the CPU you thought you brought. Essentially, they've got the wrong chips in them. And that's a simplified version. If you want to go look into it, go look at it yourself. I'm just trying to make it so you can understand it. And I have simplified that heavily. It's called ROPS. Essentially, they're not getting the ROPS that they're meant to have. And so basically, you're losing about 5% performance, which is equivalent to about $150. And again, it's dropping the card down to cards below where they should be. And it's quite disgusting. They're charging us these prices and having all these mistakes. Again, it's like I was saying, they're starting to treat us like second-class citizens because we just don't matter anymore. That's why the prices have gone up, because it's like, well, I can either sell this to someone in an AI data center and get this amount of money, or I can sell it to this peasant. So I'm going to charge them more, because if they don't want them, I'll just sell them to the AI guy.
Mm.
That's what's driving the demand, that we are now fighting with data centers who want to build these massive AI supercomputers. If you go watch the presentations by Jensen Wong, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name. Basically, they're connecting all these video cards together with the old tech of SLI. They call it SLI spine, and they're essentially connecting like multiples of them together and making mega computer huge GPUs. And each one of those, like there might be 20 to 30 in one thing, and each one of those is $5,000 each. Like, it's just insane. The money people are paying for AI is absolutely through the roof. The really funny thing is, though, that Nvidia lost 20% of their stock the other week, and that was because someone brought out an AI model that didn't require all the GPUs. So this whole thing about that you need the GPUs is a bit of a lie. And if it's designed properly, you don't need them. It's just a lot easier to do it with them right now, and that's why. So I don't think Nvidia they'll ride a train, but it's not going to be a gravy train. Now people have seen a doubt, and you've only got to have that doubt planted, and people will then start looking for another way. Before, no one was looking for another way, right? It's like Edison. He made 1,000 light bulbs that didn't work. You've only got to find the one way that works, and it'll always be the cheaper, easier method that will succeed, because it's just cheaper and easier. So yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Now, to pick up on the gameplay discussion we had earlier, and this is the problem without our bot. We're kind of probably a bit more scatterbrained.
Yes.
As we troll through our chat and do things. Captain Fishstick said fire and engineering weren't too far off.
Yeah.
Previously, so it would be good to see those come in, and fire kind of does time with engineering as well. But
agreed.
Having those things in gameplay just, again, as I said, just adds to those loops and things to do, and I hope would be a quality of life improvement for people having those things to do. And Sir Quiggles is starting the bot.
Oh, excellent. So just real quickly, Wolf Blitzer, you're talking about don't buy GPUs for a couple of years. No, just buy older ones that are cheaper. So buy like the 4000 series, because they're not that far behind the 5000 series, and they cost a lot less. Or make the switch to AMD. It's the same thing as we say with CIG. Let your wallet do the talking. It's the same thing that's happened to the movies and the games. Like all those games have been coming out over the last 5 years, and if they're shit, people just don't buy them. And massive companies have been toppling because they were told that we wanted certain things. We didn't want certain things, you know. So if you don't like something, just don't buy it. It's that simple.
Yep. That's what we say about Star Citizen.
Yeah. The 4090 is affected Wolf Blitzer, but the 4080 isn't, right? And I've got a 3080, and I can still play almost every. Like, I got into Monster Hunter World yesterday, and I can still play over 100 FPS, and that's a 2 generations old card, right? So most games you'll be able to play totally fine. It's only like, and guess what? You put a chuck of 5090 at Star Citizen, it doesn't really go up in quality because it's CPU bottlenecked. So it's not going to affect Star Citizen anyway. All right, sorry, Algared. I know you.
No, that's okay. I'm just sending Sir Pickles a message. So he said he just saw
the
message. Yeah. So yeah. Just gonna do that online.
The bots are coming. The questions are in there. He's got it working. Yep. Good on him. Right. So yeah, thank you, Pickles, if you're watching.
So I'll type the thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. The less messages I send, the better.
Yep.
So yeah, have a look at the reviews of AMD and just, again, don't just look at one person's video. Look at multiple. I'd say 3 minimum. And if they're all saying, "Oh, it's the bee's knees," go. If it's mixed, then you'll have to make a decision on your own. So yeah. Right. I'm gonna get through these ones in the Q&A, so I can turn the Q&A off. So yeah. Now free feel to go back to the old way. Now I've got it up and working. So
please go back to the old way.
Yeah.
Please.
It's yeah. Sorry for all this hassle. It's 100% my fault, and I feel really bad about it. But anyway. Right, Ivy, question. Do you think that we should be able to continue to support Frontier Fighters? Absolutely. I wanted to play. I like their armor. I think if you're going to make this game balanced, you should be able to play as the bad guys if you wanted to. I was really annoyed that all of a sudden my quest line was just cut off. I couldn't do anything else. It was shit,
Yep.
and there was nothing that told me that I'd picked the wrong faction or anything like that. They'd made it out there was, but nobody ever saw their choices
Yep.
because
I did see
missions.
a news broadcasty type thing that indicated they were the problem.
I think
causing
that
stuff,
was
but
after I think that was after it came out though. But during the
Mm.
actual missions, no,
Yeah.
because nobody did the ground missions because they were bugged.
also that question was the first question that came through on the bot.
Okay, cool.
So it might be those questions are
So I'll only
that you've
answer.
got on the Q&A.
Yeah, okay. I'll
bot
only
questions.
do the ones that don't say question in it then. So Jeremy Sheldon says, when did they remove all ship upgrades I gathered or brought in game? When did they remove all ship upgrades I gathered or brought in game? That would have been when they did a wipe. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Yeah. So they
I
did a
would assume
wipe.
that.
That would have been about a month ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, right about then. So yeah, they do a wipe every so often. I think sometimes it's 18 months between wipes. Couldn't tell you how long it's been since they literally did the one before
Yep.
that. But yeah, they're usually a pretty long time between drinks, but it's to be expected a game that's in development, Jeremy. So yeah.
They really do try to avoid them because they know players don't like it. But they also try to, they also want to keep the game balanced. And when things get too far out of kilter, or they wanting to reset stuff because so much new stuff's come in, they'll do a wipe. And they've never said we'll never do a wipe. They've said we'll avoid it, but we will reserve, we reserve the right to do wipes when we need to. So that would be the problem there. So yeah.
Right. I cannot pronounce his name. Sirivicus. It just does not roll up my tongue. Sirivicus. Do you think we'll get an animal transport ship or farm ship? Yeah, absolutely do think we'll get one.
I hope so.
I think
the type of stuff I'd like to do.
The 400i might even be a bit of a tip of the hat to that, temperature controlled cargo, the biopods, like you're mixing those two things together and putting it into a transport ship. It makes sense. Because if you look at the biopods, wouldn't you just expect that there's a smaller ship that does that anyway?
Yeah, and the biopods themselves hint at that.
Yeah.
So, because they're biopods. And then you've even got the prisoner transport type stuff where you've got them in suspended animation. So, I could see that thing.
I think ironically, this will tie into the episode we did with Morph a couple of weeks back. That
it would probably very closely.
I'd have to check, but I think it's the next one up to come out though. So look out for that. There is an episode. Let me just double check. I can actually.
We do have a few episodes in the bank at the moment, and we're slowly bringing them out.
So let me switch this over. So it's actually scheduled for March the 11th. So, dude, where's my backlog ship is the next one, and then it's the one after that. So not this week, but the one after. You can see the serpent up there. That's an episode we did with Morph. Probably be a month by the time it comes out. But that actually became an episode all about science, and that went into it looking at things like animals and transport ships and all that type of thing. It became a very interesting discussion. I really enjoyed it. I think you got a lot out of it, as did Morph.
It was just a night. It was speculative.
Yeah,
it was looking at where the possible gameplay could go, but it was also looking at where that gameplay fits, and it was more than originally came out of you asking about just resource management. Where can we get the resources, and why would these things have been transported? And then looking at the reason behind, trying to think of the law reasons why people would do that, not apart from just wanting to see the world burn. And that led to the whole discussion.
So look forward to that one. Not this week, but next. Again, we've been stockpiling a lot of episodes just because we've learned that if things go wrong, like when I went to hospital, or if Algared needs to go to hospital, or something just comes up, it's just good to have some in the bank. And so we're trying to get them out though in a timely manner at the same time. And this one again, because it's more of a thought episode, it's Forever Green. So we try to hold on to the Forever Green ones as long as we can, because we can release them at any time. But it's just a really good episode, so it's kind of pushed up a little bit as well. It's probably the front of the evergreen ones. So
and so we while we say they're evergreen, they don't age. We also don't try to just keep them forever. We
But if
still try to
something
bring them out.
happens this weekend and we get a really cool episode, then this may get knocked back a little bit.
We may get kicked down the road a little bit further, which has happened a few times to a couple of those episodes. But
well,
that's just
episode that came out this week, we recorded that a month ago, and that took it and it looks dated now because it was talking about the previous roadmap.
But that's generally the process we try to look at. So things that are really current get kicked to the front. Those that are always current can be pushed down. Another question that came in related to that build ship, because we did spend a bit of time at the start, and doesn't have a question in it, so it's not picked up by the bot, was by Wolf Blitzer. Could the mothership could pull the mothership but move other things around with it? So I think he's talking about the little saucer. Could it be put into the mothership, but not pull the mothership, but pull other things around? The little convoluting the question.
I think he's trying to say, is it a tugboat or what was its function?
Would it be a tugboat? That's how I originally read it, but as I reread the question, it threw me. But
so
could it be a tugboat?
So long story short, we haven't really gone into super amount of depth of what it actually does, but being a construction ship, you'd have to assume that it somehow assists in construction. So I always envisioned it might have arms on it. And possibly a tractor beam. I could totally see it doing that as well to position the ship into place so it can be or towed out.
Some of the other comments and questiony type things that come around it, does it have tractor beams? And I would expect, just because it's able to build ships, it would have tractor beams for being able to haul them around. Or are we saying when it's building, it's got to be stationary? And so they're all questions that relate to the type of ship when it's in game, when you're putting it in game. But initially, when you're doing concept, you're just going for rule of cool and what looks good and function, I suppose. So,
all right. Well, I got 3 more questions on the Q&A, and then I can close that down. So I've got Dub Coyote who says, "What do you think of the Perseus upgrades? Do you think it will be 110 meters long ship when it arrives?" Didn't realize there were upgrades. So if we missed something that came out this week on the Perseus, okay,
anything possible.
Let me go have a look. I didn't know there were upgrades. That's news to me, and I don't usually miss things like that. So let's see, is there a com link here? Let us know in chat if you know what the hell he's talking about. I'm not seeing anything about Perseus. Okay, so I don't know where that's coming from, but maybe
if he's talking,
Coyote, let us know in chat. I've got chat up. See if I can, at least from what other people say, missing components and such are global. They didn't wipe for the patch that came out today. But the last patch bowler they did wipe for. There was some leaks.
Grappa says Perseus leaks show added PAL up.
Well, again, because my Discord account got hacked, I don't have access to those channels at the moment. I will have to get back onto those channels. So yes, I have been, the last 48 hours been really cut off from Discord. So again, all my fault. But yeah, I'll go have a look at that after this. Unless someone can send me an invite to Pipeline, like right now, but Algared, Piggles is the only person. You or Grim are the only 2 people that could send it to me.
Sangrappa says the Perseus leaks show added PDWs or point defense weapons.
Makes sense.
Smaller turrets going up from size 3 guns to size 4.
Yep, that makes sense. Well, that's in line with them basically what happened to the old guns when they essentially everything kind of went up a size. So that's just in line with stuff that happened from back when it was a concept. As for the PDCs, well, it just shows that it's more combat capital type of ship, so that makes sense too. We're paying $675 at the moment for that thing, so I'd hope that it has some features of bigger ships if it's a bigger ship price.
Well, based on what Captain Fishstick says as well, he says added 4 PDCs and upgrade the small turrets to size 4. So look, the price of that ship is excruciatingly overpriced.
Sorry, did you say the price of that ship?
Yeah, the price of that ship.
No, the price of that chip. Is that what you just said?
No. I didn't say the other. Didn't say the offensive thing. Even
No,
though
no, no,
you know
no,
I like
no, no.
talking.
I never said shit. I said chip. Chip.
No, not chip.
Chip.
Not chip. No, nothing like that.
Right.
Chip. Maybe I've got to talk like a New Zealander for
No,
you.
I just don't think you get the joke. It's fine.
Nope.
It's fine.
Nope,
It's
I
a
don't
giant,
get it.
It's a giant Dorito chip.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right. Anyway.
Sorry. You were going too far out there for me.
Yeah, it's It's just so
Yeah.
far. Woof.
That's right. Just polish the head.
Yeah,
Polish
yeah,
the head.
yeah.
Just get my polishing cloth and.
Took the hair off. Yeah. Anyway, no, okay, they're all pretty much in line. I kind of don't see those as upgrades as such. I see them more as to be expected. To be honest with you.
Look, I see it as doing stuff that actually makes it more viable and actually brings it in line with what we're pricing it as. Because at the moment, these $600 or $700 odd dollars for the Dorito, for the mini Dorito is just it's just obscene. It's sickening. Yeah, when we picked what was a $25 upgrade from Matt to the Polaris. At one time?
Yeah, there was one available for 25. Yeah.
That is absurd. That is absolutely disgusting. That for $25 more, at one time you could have got a Polaris.
Yeah. And even before the Polaris came out, it was $75 more. So you're getting twice as much ship for $75. So it's kind of crazy, and it kind of just shows you by how much the price rose on the Polaris. Like it's not near anything. I think the most expensive we expected was $925, and it came out at $975. So it was beyond what we even expected.
Our top end excessive price was $75 less than what it ended up being. So that just gives you an indication of how much the Polaris was done. And I fully expect that the Perseus is going to jump in price again. And think of it this way: if it was undergunned or under, not meeting up to the standard, it wouldn't jump as much. But if I add lots more defenses to it and give it more versatility, when it comes out, the price is going to go up and become closer to that Polaris price again. So be careful what you wish for, is I suppose my take on that. So
well, it also makes me wonder if they're going to go back and retroactively do it to things like the Hammerhead as well. You'd have to assume that needs some kind of PDCs on it too.
The Hammerhead is, like I get that it's a ship that you put in harm's way, but it does need, I think, something to aid it in terms of automated defense.
Well, considering it's $725, you've got to assume that the Perseus is going to pass it in price when the Perseus finally comes out. So, yes, the Hammerhead is a PDC of sorts, but again, when you start to now look at it against the Perseus and other ships that are up there in price, it just don't add up. Why would I want that when I can get, like right now, I can get the Perseus for less? I know the Perseus isn't out, but you've got to look at things in the moment, and it's more beneficial to have a Perseus right now than it is a Hammerhead.
A Hammerhead.
And it was $25 from the Hammerhead to the Polaris at one point as well. So we're talking about for the entire time the Hammerhead's been out. If you look at it right now, it doesn't add up, but in a whole thing, it does.
And I'd agree, the Hammerhead is kind of developed as a point defense ship.
I think they even called it a point defense platform at one point. So
but it basically, in the sense that you've got to have man. So the only way in game for it to really be an automated defense platform is to have NPCs manning the guns at present. And we don't have the NPCs to man the guns. Whereas you take a Polaris in, the point defense turrets on the Polaris do a fantastic job of clearing up missiles and fighters when it's working. But and the Hammerhead just needs more love. It is underperforming for what role it does, I think.
I think you would agree most ships are going to get reworks at some point.
Yeah.
Right, Shinoni,
reworks, upgrades, etc., etc. Yep.
yeah. So Shinoni Chips says, I don't know how long 4.0.2 has been out, came out today. Have been mission QT markers locations been fixed? I don't know because we haven't had a chance to get in game. I'm tired of having to Alt F4 and quickly reload to get them to work. Well, at least there's a workaround, so that would mean to them there's a workaround, so it has a lower priority, fortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, it has been annoying that there's a lot. It seems to be more like almost like it's going backwards in bug terms, not forwards. So, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say about that. Anything you want to add to that, Algared?
Nope.
Right. Last one on the QA before I close it down is Radium TX, who says, if you joined SC for the first time today and would only purchase one ship, which ship would you buy and why?
What's the question again? If you
were joining Star Citizen today for the first time today and could only purchase one ship, which ship would you buy and why?
I think I'd have to have a look at the startup screen of the packages that are available for a new backup.
Well, he's not just saying you could buy a Kraken. He's not saying you have to buy a starter ship. He's just saying what's the one ship you would buy. And I think for me, it would still be a big ship that I would buy.
I would certainly go down that line. But if I'm starting Star Citizen today from scratch, I've got to imagine I'm starting a brand new account. So I've got to see, okay, what can I see on my brand new account?
Someone in chat flirting with you, Argo. He says Argo looks awesome. He's obviously trying to flirt with you.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Well, thank you.
He's a taken man. He's taken man now, Jack Raven. You better be careful. Right. Yeah, look, for me, I'd probably still go one of the bigger ships, just because, even if I can only have the one, because I know when the game finally comes out, I will be able to earn down to the other ships. If the question was reworded to say, just get one ship, or I had to get a starter ship, so like sub $100,
yeah.
I have to think about it for a second. Probably, because it limits the gameplay you can do, right?
It does.
Starting out, knowing I could get it for a discount, I'd probably get a Nomad. Because if I don't get a discount, then I'd probably get an Avenger. That's probably where I'd go. But I wouldn't pay for it.
Sorry, just so you don't feel left out, Jack Raven says, you look awesome too.
Oh, cool, thanks. He's what a slut.
Yeah. What a floozy.
He's flirting with everyone.
Just going around.
On bicycle, this one. Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I did break your train of thought there. But yeah, in terms of ships, as I thought about it, someone said Andromeda, and as I thought, I'd probably stick with an Andromeda, or a Taurus. The very first ship I bought, way back when, was the Andromeda, because I looked at it in terms of what I could do with my mates, or what I could do with a few people, either pickup team or mates when they're playing. Now that was a ship that was within the price range that I was willing to spend at the time, or thought I was willing to spend. And my second ship was an Aurora because of the interchangeable parts and the same company type stuff. And so I foolishly bought into the in-game marketing that was done at the time, which really didn't help.
How shortly after that was it that you had the appointment at the crossroad with the devil to sign your life away?
Oh, not long. Not long. I think it was when very soon after, because I really liked the idea as I looked at the ship matrix and looked at the ships that were kind of on the matrix. I looked at it and went, oh, these are ships that are in game that we can't own. So they had ships like the Crucible and the Surveyor, which was the Reclaimer, and the Endeavour, and the Hull Sea. And I thought, oh, these are the non-pew ships that we can't own. And I think the BMM had been there, but it wasn't owned, wasn't available again yet. But when those non-pew ships came out, and were available, that's when I think I swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Because to me it was saying, yeah, okay, you're not just Chris isn't just building this game as Pew Pew, it's all encompassing. And I already knew that whatever he built was going to push for what the computers and what the systems could do, because I'd seen that in Wing Commander and previous games. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's what pushed me down over the edge into Pokemon Syndrome.
All right.
Long answer.
Next question is actually from the bot, and it's actually also from Radium TX. It says, when you are feeling a little burnt out on Star Citizen, what does it take to get you excited about it again? A new patch, a new ship, etc. Yeah, it is a bit of the new patch or a new ship, but it's also realizing how game development works. I think, like most of you guys that follow the development of this game, it has been a well, I used to do it obviously, but well, I'll put this to Algared. Algared essentially came into this as just a normal person, so to speak, not having that background, and you know a lot more about how it works now, and you could take that to another game and now understand why it's got delayed.
Things, yeah. Like I knew it was going to take time. You know, I'd been involved in beta testing for other games and alpha testing in other games. I'd seen games talked about at the Game Expo, and then not hear anything about them for 2 or 3 years before hearing anything else. But the development, and I also knew from what Chris Roberts had done in Wing Commander that he was going to push the envelope as far as he could. I've mentioned numerous times the reason we have integrated soundboards on our motherboards now is because you needed to have a really good, you used to go out and buy a Sound Blaster card just to put in your computer so you could hear quality sound when you're playing certain games, because of the you didn't want an 8-bit video of people talking. It just the 8-bit sound just sounded crap. So I knew all of those things, but as I followed the game, my understanding of game development has changed significantly. So yeah,
I think
that's a good thing.
I think your journey might not be typical because you've obviously had my ear and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people, even if they haven't come as far as you, they've actually come further. And I think those people that are more invested, it shows that they understand. And also, generally the audience is a bit more mature, so they've also got a bit more patience. But that patience is starting to even wane now for a lot of us, as we mentioned before, because it is just taking a little bit longer than we would all like. So this year will be interesting because of that, but also once Squadron is out, I think it'll be interesting as well. What will happen when more normal people come into the audience and stuff like that as well. So it'll be interesting.
It's also hard for the older backers like us, because there's that certain point where you got to say, I cannot justify putting in X amount dollars more because I've already spent Y amount. There is that limit where, as much as you may want to keep putting in, you've got to go, man, there's got to be that balance. And, CIG know that. When the CEO is telling you to stop, don't spend any more. They're not trying to just fleece everyone. They're I think Sandy's comment to me was, "Oh my God, stop!" That would be the almost the thing. That's a very Australian type comment. But so there's that element that comes into that tiredness and waning enthusiasm as well, I think so.
Yeah. The other thing, I didn't hear from the person that won the Heartseeker giveaway. So I might draw another one of those as well. While I'm thinking of it, let me see if I can get this up.
Yep.
You want to
when were we doing the other one, the Paladin?
We'll probably.
Was that going to be this week, or
once I get
next week?
Once I get rid of this, I think we'll just do that one the following week. That works for you.
Yep. No, that suits me fine.
Yeah.
So that gives you another week to go to the ship review tier list episode and chuck in a comment, and that'll put you in the line to win the Paladin.
Yep.
So you've still got another week.
Yeah.
Do that now.
So I'm going to try and draw this out live again, because obviously I haven't. Now, technically speaking, he could have contacted me in the last 2 days, and I haven't got the message because I'm not on Discord. But he didn't even reply to the comment, which is a really common thing people do. And he didn't reply to the comment at all. So I had no way to see that he'd even seen the message. So I'm making the assumption that he has not seen it. All right. So if we flick this, that's not going to flick over.
And I'm going to say, if you are the person, when you contact on Discord, at me, at Algared.
Yeah, contact Algared, because you won't be able to
contact me, and I will pass the information on to X.
Yeah. All right. So should be able to. There we go. All right. So good luck to everyone. Pick a random YouTube comment. Let's see what happened. We got Sir Berticus 3815. F7M Mark II looks really appealing, but I just can't bring myself to spend $240 for $180 less. I'll have an Avenger Titan and does more and should easily run away with those pesky hornets. Well, you don't have to anymore.
Ben, no, because you know.
I can now message you, and I'll have to delete the other person's comment.
So you can either respond to Execute's message in the chat once he messages you, or you can send a message to me on Discord. Make sure you at me so that I'll see it, so it'll pull up to the front, because you get so many messages. And
I'm just trying.
And we will get back to you.
So I'm trying to find the other guy, and I'm just going to delete the comment because he obviously hasn't got back to me. Can I find it? No, I can't. All right, here we go.
Of course not.
Here he is, Carl Johnson Larson. He's the guy that can get back to me. So I'll just copy that message and make sure I copy it. And then I'm going to delete that message because obviously he doesn't need to see it anymore.
So sorry, Carl. You
had a week.
Didn't get back to us in a week, and you didn't get back to us, so unfortunately you miss out.
And this is full lazy mode. Verticus. There you go. And hopefully...
If I was full lazy, that wasn't full lazy mode. Full lazy mode would have been just saying, "Congrats, you have won."
Yeah. Well, I copy pasted. Oh wait, shit! I've got to edit that. Can you Discord? My username is, what's your username? Just Algared.
Algared.
So I'll just change it. Yeah. We did that.
Just say, please contact Algared. Please at Algared.
Please reach out to Algared via Discord. His username is Algared. It's all lowercase, isn't it?
It is all.
Yep. So there you go.
Yep. Should be
Problem
fine.
solved. Done it live. All done. Right.
Yep.
So hopefully he gets back to us. Man, just like I've never had so much trouble giving a ship away ever. But hopefully that gets sorted. But yeah, just remember you can still go do the Paladin one on the tier list 2025. All you have to do is leave a comment. You could have technically left a comment on that one too, and again, if it doesn't get redrawn, we'll just do it again.
So, and a week if it gets taken, then next week we will do the Paladin. If not, the following week. But you still have time.
I'll go back because people are asking who won it. The person that won it is a guy called Sir Berticus. 3815. That's his top comment there. That's his comment. So yeah. And we pulled it out with this thing. So that's his. Okay, nice and big. So there you go. You can see what he said. And
no, we told him to go to my Discord. We told him to go to Discord and at me.
Yeah, who said that? Who are you talking
to? Citizen Ninja said, but you just told him to go to your Discord.
I edited it. So it now says it says please reach out to Algared via Discord. His username is Algared, and he will and we will get that off to you ASAP.
Yep.
And I've also said I'll give you a week to get in contact, or we show a redraw. So we'll
And
just do
he
the
can
sentiment.
also
Yeah.
leave a message on the video itself.
So, yeah.
But yeah,
So if anyone knows Sir Berticus, please get in contact with him, because every time we have to redraw this, it gets pushed back the week. And
yeah. So, but for those of you who are new to the channel or have not yet gone to the tier list episode, and if you pull that tier list episode up so people can see it, then they'll know which one to go to. Yes, I'm making you work.
Yeah, you are making me work. Whip.
That's right, the whip hitting you. If you go there, leave a comment, that will put you in the running for withdrawal for the Paladin, which is a very nice ship. And as much as I would like it, I can't win by putting in a comment because I'm an Inforunner. So I'm not allowed.
There it is.
So there's the tier list episode. That's the one you want to go to and leave a comment, and that will put you in the running for that free ship.
Let's say Paladin giveaway on it. If you so that's what that actually is a Guardian from CIG, and I've just brought an upgrade from the Guardian to the Paladin. So whoever wins, I'll probably just send them both, and they can do what they want. But yeah, it is technically a Paladin. So yeah, right. I think that's all that. You want to do another question from the? Please.
Hang on.
Or I will.
Yeah, you do that.
Jeremy Sheldon says, it's hard to think of questions when I'm in-game running around trying to see what's different. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
Dub Cody says, question, do you think the grind for supply and diet... Oh, we've already done that one. We've already done that one. So we're down to the last 3 questions. Man, we're really going through all the questions. Well, this is going to be a very short stream. We're down to an hour and a half, and we're only halfway through. So if you want to get some more questions in, please feel free. The bot is now working again, so you should be able to get them in. The opinion of Matt says, medium salvage ship when? Also, what manufacturer? Drake, Argo, Misk, other. Medium salvage. Argo? What manufacturer would you expect from? Because technically, I think the Vulture is the medium. I think it's now between the Vulture and the Reclaimer, don't you? So it could be Misk or Argo. I would agree with those two, or even Consolidate Outland. I could see doing salvage too because of the construction. Deconstruct, reconstruct.
Yep.
So
I could certainly see Argo just because of, again, what I said earlier about what they used to do. They really got into their took off when they worked out how to repair the mass transport system. I think the original the person who came from or established Argo had been working in the mass transport system trying to do repairs, and it was just taking so long. And then they found a method one time and went, "Yep, okay, boom," and created Argo. So yeah, I could see Argo having repair vehicles and repair ships. To me, that makes good sense. But yeah,
we often we've done episodes on this like a really long time ago now. What would it do? So you've got the drones on the Reclaimer, you've got the processing and sorting facilities on the Reclaimer, you've got the lasers, you've got the claw, and then on the other end you've got the Vulture, which essentially loses a lot of those features. So you got to use blast charges instead of lasers. You don't have any of the sorting. You got far less cargo. So what's the middle ground between there? What do you lose from the Reclaimer, and what do you gain above the Vulture? And when you kind of go through that, you can kind of see what it's roughly going to be. You can't tell the manufacturer. You can limit the manufacturer, but you can kind of start to get an idea of what it's going to be, and it's probably not going to have the kind of sorting facilities, but it could have a claw and it could have some drones. Like you could make it a heavily drone-based ship. What does that give over the Reclaimer? Like, can it cheaply get to ground more than the Reclaimer, or is it something more focused that the Reclaimer is bad at? So they're the type of questions you start to look at, and it starts to steer where this thing could go.
Yep.
Right. Nothing else to add?
Yep. No. I think that pretty much is a fair answer. I could see.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Right, we're down to 4 questions, so if you guys want to get some more questions in,
So The Opinion of Matt.
We just did that one.
Oh, that's the one you just did.
Yep, next one.
So the next question is the Tabooed Mini, or Tattooed Mini, sorry. Question for the runners. How do you feel about the changes to the roadmap? Pushing back more features, yet they can still release more of those events that are pointless if you don't do them first. If you didn't do them first. Sorry, if you didn't do the first live. Look, I think it's a matter of dealing with the player base. If you miss out on a timed event, then that's on you. It'd be nice to see those timed, and it's hard when you're doing those. I'd like to say they could just keep those timed events, stage 1 running and then do stage 2. But there is an essence where if you're trying to do a dynamic mission system, you just can't have that continually there. You want to be able to move the players on. Back.
I think it is moving to that testing environment they've been talking about.
Yeah,
that's a part of what they're trying to do and where they're trying to go. So,
right. So if you miss out on those things, it sucks. And I've missed out on a few, but that's life.
Yeah. So let's have a look at this redacted mission giver, redacted armor set. So this is all the stuff that they've added. Gameplay, we're getting space combat missions, more of the same. A new open act and depending on foot exploration with. So that's like a ground-based mission based with on foot mission. Locations, redacted missions give the locations a special design location don't. So this is just tentative. Hathor Ground Alignment Station, a strategic placed Hathor operations outpost providing key infrastructure and sandbox gameplay. So this is just more of the same, but flavor text or story stuff.
That Hathor Ground Alignment Station ties in with, if I remember correctly, to the planetary shield type stuff.
Well, there's a Hathor mining station. No, I think that's a different company. A large-scale mining laser facility operated by the Hathor Group. So unless the Hathor Group made the station, so I honestly can't remember. I'd have to look it up, Algared.
I'm trying to go from what they said at SitCon, and I thought it was a Hathor Group, but was kind of used to do it, but went defunct, and that's the old stations and stuff they've got. So, but I could be wrong.
And some of the Volt guns. All right, so that's 4.1. I'm noticing though that there's dots here on 4.0, so they added new things to these. So let's have a look. Aussie Grazer, we've already got. Released is the mission system refactor, server meshing V1. All right, we got those. Gameplay entries, supply or die, save stand, and jump points. Well, we got all those. But okay, locations, Argo, space station, contested zones. We got that. Asteroids. So really, we need another one in here for 4.0.2. All the ones in. So there's a big grey area here between these two.
Yeah, and it could be, at the moment they're looking at they don't need the 0.02 because they're looking at
I think, like, going back now, I kind of have had a chance to look at it because this obviously came out while we were asleep, and someone was saying there was no new ships added. I think there's clearly a gap there. They need to start putting this should have 4.0.1 on there, and it also should have 4.0.2 on there, because again, it's a month between patches, and let's be honest, there is a fair bit of stuff in 0.2 that is not listed here.
And I think it's kind of picking up the old way the roadmap was being done, whereas, and are they just going to put the O2 stuff and O1 stuff into?
That's the only thing that's on there. It literally says committed, and it came out today.
Yep.
So that's not committed. That's released. So again, this is already out of date. So,
but it also picks up like the supply or die type idea. That mission system is part of 402. So it's 4.0 is actually including all of that stuff. So they need to add more, or it'd be nice to see more added. But yeah, it makes sense to actually break it off and do it in its patch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
You want to do the next one, please?
Yep. So Daedalus.
Yep.
_GR says, on the limited ships, why can't you upgrade from another one?
Well, I think it's a money thing. They know
Yeah.
a lot of those ships are in demand, and so basically by making them limited, you have to pay the full price for them, so they make more money. Essentially, that's what it is. And they are limited because they don't want everyone to have them. I think a really good example of that is the Pioneer. That it's the biggest capital ship. It's essentially tailored at orgs, but they don't want just everyone having one. Well, this is a really good
Yeah.
example because of what Ben said. I'll let you take it from
Yeah,
here.
Ben. We were talking, we were talking to John and Ben. Ben was like, I couldn't believe I was talking to an org, and I said, "How many pioneers do you have in your org?" Just out of interest. And he was, one or two. Every member of the org had a pioneer, and he was like, "But it's a ship designed for an org to have, not a ship for every member of the org." And he was thinking, oh, you'd have one or two, or one per system, or something like that. No, but not every member of the org have one. And that I think there's that element where CIG have the idea of certain ships are org-based ships, the ships that the org, your org will have one or two of, not 56 or 100 or all that. And that,
Sorry.
so, yep.
Rao in chat just said Hathor was in the Theaters of War demo at CitizenCon 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those people. That's interesting.
The Hathor group are the...
Yeah, interesting.
Okay.
So taking some of the lore from Theaters of War and bringing it into the game. That's interesting. Right.
Yes, I think the Hathor, was the Hathor group a group that actually initially set up the colony on Lear, which got taken over by the Radicals. And I'm pretty certain that that company went belly up. But I'm going on memory, and I haven't had a chance to double check that. So, bit like the Green Horizon, not the Green Horizon, the mob that originally was building the Ruin Station, the Gold Horizon stations.
Yeah, sorry.
So they used to build the space stations, and there's a whole pile of those type of stations out in the verse that are just left there because the company went bankrupt. And Ruin Station used to be a Gold Horizon station that had been taken over after it got, after it was abandoned. So there's several of those types of companies out in the game, and we've yet to see them really get fleshed out. So seeing that type of stuff there is good. But I know when they talked about Pyro at CitizenCon, they talked about those ground stations with the shield tech, and you had to get the control of that station, and that would enable you to activate the local shield. And that was the type of thing going forward they were talking about doing for other systems as well. And that would be how your PvP would be, how you'd bid for the support of those shields, and that would be how orgs would be able to guarantee the safety of their settlement or whatever. So yeah, interesting times. Wolf Blitzer for our second last question. So yes, if you do have a question, please chuck it in with question, and we will get to it.
Got about an hour and 20 minutes left on for me and Algared have allotted for today. But if we don't get any more questions, we'll just cut it off here. So yeah,
we will be happy to cut it off.
Because I've had a week. I don't know, he has too. So it's up to you guys. We're happy to stay for another hour and so. But if no more questions come in, we won't be devastated.
No, if we don't get any more questions, I'll get my shopping done and I'll be able to play the game. So
I don't
mind.
I'll probably be able to jump in and play the game too. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't mind, but it's almost at that point where jumping in and playing the game would be a good thing. But then we'll have that problem where I'll start answering questions and stand still and get disconnected.
Yeah.
How do you?
So Wolf Blitz asks, how do you think that they will balance hired NPCs versus players on turrets?
Well, I'll let you answer that because you've kind of talked the way you'd think, and I think what you've said ties in with what I've heard CIG say as well. So
now you put me on the spot because I don't remember what I said. You've distracted me.
It's nice to know I've finally got vengeance.
What did I say? I'll put words in my mouth. Go on.
So you basically said they will just look at the balance and say, this is what a top gun does, this is what a lower gun does, and they'll just scale it accordingly.
Yeah. So essentially, like, you can look at a player's reputation, because they have a player rating system, and they also have essentially they can use that to dictate the skill of an NPC.
Yeah.
And I think that's half the reason why that stuff is in there, because essentially you can go, all right, so this guy's a turret gunner, he's roughly equal to this, he essentially kills this type of ships, he's got this type of personality, and they can essentially emulate that into the NPC. And essentially you know, they can obviously change the perks in that a little bit, so he's a little bit worse here, a little bit better here, but relatively speaking, they can with testing, they can essentially pull AI players into the same star ranking as you can players, and therefore when you pay X amount of dollars for a 3-star, that's how much you get for a 3-star AI as well, as long as they're comparative. But if they are massively behind or in front, and let's be honest, the AI right now with turrets can be bang on, like they can be really good shots. So I think they're gonna have more trouble making them dumb than smart. And
mind you, I can remember them saying in the initial not Siege of Orison, Xeno threat, they actually made the AI dumb. Otherwise they'd just kill us. We wouldn't have had a hope.
So they've already had practice at that, haven't they? So and I think that shows how a lot of the systems are going to integrate. It's not rocket science, and everything you said, like, it's just come to pass as time's gone on. Essentially, half of what you and I do these days is just look at other systems and see how you could take another system they already have and use it to make
and tie it in, which is basically what we ended up doing in that episode we did with Morph. We went down the what could we do, and then how does that tie into gameplay, and then
it just started slotting in with all these other systems. I was like, holy shit, we've just walked into this really awesome thing. So I really enjoyed that episode. There's not a lot of episodes anymore, and every time one of them happens, I talk about it. That me and you get a lot out of, but that was one I got stuff out of. So traditionally speaking, that means it'll view poorly.
Yeah, probably. But that goes back to that previous question. What do we do when we're burned out? What gets us going again? It's stuff like that where we can look at the game and go, this is where it's going. These are possible applications for it. Man, the scope is.
I think that's the thing, like seeing things that we haven't seen before. That's always something exciting for me. And so whether it's a new ship or a new thing, or we just discover something, or like how they potentially be doing something else new. Even like today, where we were showing off the stuff me and Grim have been doing about making a completely made up ship. That's refreshing to me, because it just gets those juices flowing. And I also got excited seeing other people get excited about it. Right, like we were asking people in chat, like, for 4-letter acronym names for this thing, and someone came back. I think it was Shempasta came back with CRFT, the Argo craft, and he had a name for it and everything, and it just like it's a craft builder, and it's a craft construction ship. It worked on multiple levels. It was brilliant, and he had a capital fabrication and something vehicle or something, and it was perfect. You know, and then we had people do the same thing for the UFO, and it was like, what was the one I came up with? Unified Fabrication Orbiter.
Yeah.
Done. You know, like it was, and other people had really good ones as well. Like, so I've just picked 2 there, but that was like myriad of people putting ideas forward, and I just love the whole collaboration process. It was literally a giant well, you know, when we brainstorm and stuff like that, it was just that on a bigger level, and it was really fun, and people were able to get into it. It was really cool.
I can fully see that. So, so that's, you know, that ties in with that. But in terms of the balance, I can see it being, you know, they just go a tier 1 will hit, you know, and they just set the rating instead of being 100% kill ratio. They go, he hits his target 20% of the time. He hits his targets 50% of the time. He hits his targets 80% of the time. He hits his target 90% of the time. But whatever they scale it, you're going to be paying for that. Well, that type of gunner. And you've seen that in other games as well.
Well, even like I wonder how far it goes, because we know how deep the personality system is, right? So you know about when a guy is going to be scared or not scared, but how far does it go? Like if he has say he's lost his right arm and it's augmented, does he then favor the cybernetic limb, or does he not favor it, right? So when he's turning to the left, he shoots badly, but when he turns to the right, he shoots exceptionally well. Does it go that deep? Like, they're the questions I ask.
Does because he's got a cybernetic arm, does it mean that he'll actually, put that in harm's way? Because, hey,
Absolutely,
it's not going to hurt me.
Well, that's
another bit of machinery I click on.
Yeah, well, that would be if it was in first person, but I was talking on a turret. But it is correct. Yes, it would follow into that as well. So yeah.
But you've got that, yeah. So yeah, I think in terms of balancing, it'll just be. They'll do that rep system, and they'll do that kind of combination as you've talked in the past. And I know CIG have talked about having NPCs that have different qualities and different abilities, and you would pay for the abilities. Where that gets murky is where they talked about the player owned, the ones from other accounts where they'd create an NPC, and that's still nebulous.
Yeah, like
I still think they're doing it.
Did they somehow copy your personality that you've built for that character, etc., stuff like that? So yeah.
But again, even on those ones, you were going to pay them their wages. So, does that mean you pay them what they're worth and what their skill is? And all of those questions are still nebulous. I don't think CIG have fully worked out where they want to go with that.
Okay, so we've had only one more question come in, so this is the last question for today, unless I'm going to look for someone else to raid real quickly while you take that question. From Radiant TX.
Captain Fishsticks does have a comment, or I'm going to say it's a when question.
Yep, go for
in-game fishing for an afternoon of golf. Would you like to see kind of those types of games in Star Citizen, those time-wasting filler games?
Well, I don't really golf. And to be honest with you, because there was so many bugs in the game, I'm wondering if Captain Fishix is one of these people actually. But John Citizen and Rice and a few of his other Maverick and a few of his mates, they've been playing golf. They've been playing like a EA PGA golf while they were waiting for Pyro type of thing. So I'm wondering if it's one of them trying to troll me.
Yeah.
I proud of them. If they play again, if you are sick of something in Star Citizen, go play another game. I'd absolutely get behind that.
Yep. I'm not sure why the real drama says rip Algared.
Rip.
That worries me. Please give me context. But yeah, I'd like to see things like that. I can remember playing Lord of the Rings, and there were times when some mates and we would sit in the Green Dragon Inn and blow smoke rings. And that was our session.
I think a lot of that like planned for SC anyway. Like, what are you going to do when you're warping between places, etc., and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Yeah, look, I think it probably will be a quieter stream today because obviously people are looking at the game since it just dropped, and we don't kind of play the game, so people would rather look at the game than do that. So that's probably going to be a quieter one. Yeah, and that's totally fine. I got no problem with that. So the last question we got for today is from Radiant TX, who says, if each ship manufacturer was a fast food restaurant, which MFR would be... Which manufacturer would be which restaurant? Drake, Burger King, RSI, McDonald's. Ooh. I don't think there's enough fast foods to go around the the manufacturers. I think Drake would be like a really dodgy mum and dad pop place, like the ones that just shouldn't be open, like they have no health, food and safety type of thing. I think you would agree with me on that one.
Absolutely.
Origin would be some really high upmarket luxury restaurant that's like a Gordon Ramsay type of, even more elaborate than that.
And no, it's not fast food because
exactly.
Origin would be saying, fast food? Are you kidding?
I think Crusader would or Misk. I'm trying to think between the two. You can break the tie. Subway. Who would be Subway? Crusader is who I'm
Ooh.
kind of going with. Crusader. Health food, trying to do good, but really doing bad. That sounds like Crusader to me. Yeah, I'm going to go with Crusader for Subway. Misk, I think, would be kind of like sushi or something like that. Like a sushi takeaway place, you know, the Japanese type of thing.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Chinese noodles, I could give him that too. Who wants to get some noodles? Like you know, I could see that. RSI would be a bit more upmarket, so I would I think that'd be a few steps above McDonald's though. So maybe like a custom burger joint, you know, that they do like custom high-end burgers. So here in Tassie where I am, we've got a couple like that called Burgers Got Soul or Food for Dudes or something like that. So
mind you, I don't know what it's like elsewhere, but in Australia, you know, you go to McDonald's, you go to the little terminals, and you can pick. I want a sourdough roll. I want a brioche roll.
They don't get Maccas like we do, man. Do you know we invented Mac Cafe?
Yeah,
and that's gone global now. Like, so we tend to set a lot of the trends. But we are the trendsetters.
When I was at theological college, one of my guys who I did Greek translations with was actually an old McDonald's CEO who'd left, and he actually had started the McCafe type push. So that's my name dropping.
That's nice.
But yes, Australia kind of is a test bed for a lot of those, and even overseas, they still didn't have McCafes like we do, where it's literally like going into a Starbucks. You know, you've got the cake cabinet, you've got the proper espresso machine, you've got the.
I think officially Radium TX has now made me hungry. All this thinking about food, it's been making me think about food. I'm now hungry.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I could see RSI being, or I could see McDonald's being a bit more upmarket if you're going for the Australian version.
Yeah.
Burger King, certainly not Drake. For me, Drake are charcoal chicken, because charcoal chicken have given me food poisoning several times. So
they used to be really good until they kind of got taken over, and then their quality dropped quite a lot.
But yeah.
So charcoal chicken did like Spitfire roasted chickens and chips and gravy type of thing, and they were really, really nice until they dropped their quality a lot. Right. With that, then we're going to raid PC 101, who is a friend of both Expat and Pissball Pete and myself. So he's streaming the game at the moment.
Just before you do that, Citizen Ninja on Twitch comes in and says, Origin would be Roof Chris's. And I could see that. Roof Chris's is a steak joint in the States.
Oh, okay.
And they do a really nice job on their steaks and other stuff. So yeah, I could see that. Drake is questionable street meat tacos. I would see Drake being a to take the Indonesian petty kaki lima, the little street stalls with their little carts.
You are successfully making me more hungry, not less
hungry.
Yes.
Shoddy food that's dirt cheap.
All right, with that then, thank you for the short stream. We're about an hour shorter than normal this week, but it's to be expected with the patch dropping. I am going to go take a look at it after I get some food. Thank you for joining me, Algared, as well. Twitch, Twitch should say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch.
Bye,
and Twitch. They're gone. Right.
And they're gone.
With that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring. Oh, my key's not working. Are you serious? Like, why is that not working? Oh, no, it did work. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went to the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Right.
Indeed.
With that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.